Welcome to Morally Corrupt, a show here on the Ringer reality feed. It's me, Rachel.
And it's me, Chelsea.
Yes, I got a couple of suggestions about what we should call this.
Oh, yeah, so did I. What were yours?
Well, one was from Queens of Bravo, which,
Okay.
okay, guys, I'm bad at responding back. I saw it. I just haven't responded back. It was like, because we're another show, so you're getting more of us,
Yeah.
it should be more ally or ally.
Uh-huh.
I think I got more ully.
Uh-huh.
Like more emphasis on the more. I thought that was cute. Someone else emphasized the T, which I think we kind of did. Morally corrupt, emphasis on the T.
Yes.
But I love that. I love that you guys are so excited. You got some
Yes.
too? Okay, good.
I got like how Marvel is MCU. Like we
Mhm.
should like create our own morally corrupt universe.
I saw that somewhere.
Yeah. Shout out to
love-
Jen Pattison. Yes, and also with the MCT, Morally Corrupt Tuesdays. But I mean, we're still in T. We're a lot more. We're
like
we're a
this.
big Bravo universe here on the Ringer reality TV channel.
Well, I like the MCU or the
Yeah.
MCT. Is that what the MCT, the MC morally corrupt universe? No,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Because we like a little friendly competition, and we
Mhm.
know over there, the guys have the Ringerverse.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
We've got our own universe over here. I love all the suggestions, and I love that everyone's excited about more
Mhm.
content and the new show, and we're live-ish, and we're in person. We're doing the studio. Like, I love that. So, keep it coming. Keep the suggestions, the input. We love to hear from you guys. We are watching, reading, maybe not responding back, but we see you.
We see you.
We see you.
We see each other.
Okay, a lot of Bravo news
Mhm.
to cover today. Mainly a lot of Southern Charm stuff. Like very Southern Charm, very non-housewife newsy.
Yeah,
So
they're being quiet.
the housewives
They're
should be
being
quiet,
well behaved.
right?
Good
Right.
for them. Let the
Um,
young kids get in the mud.
Yeah, let's do it. And nobody's deeper in it than Craig right now, depending on whose side you're choosing. So Craig stepped into Watch What Happens Live. Question really quickly: does he not have his podcast anymore?
They do have. I actually looked up their podcast. They still are publishing. I've never listened. But I don't know if they're both on, but they had released an episode last week.
Okay, so the reason I ask is because you should have taken a page out of Paige's book and monetized your information. The fat Paige went on Giggly Squad and did it, which was amazing. It was great. You have your own platform, which I wanted to be sure if you did. You should have done the same thing. Now, do we love that you went on Watch What Happens Live and we got to see it in person and hear you speak with Andy, who's going to ask the good questions? Yes. But you should have done this another way. I mean, there's a reason I haven't sat down and done a full interview about my shit, because if I'm going to give you all of this, you bet I should be getting something out of it.
Yes.
Yes. Or I'm not going to do it. But Craig did. All right. And for that, after my rant, I still say thank you. So he gets on Watch What Happens Live, and he basically contradicts some of the things that Paige has said. He says that the breakup wasn't mutual, which we knew.
Yeah.
We suspected.
Yeah.
That is not tea.
No.
That's not tea. That's water. And he said that Paige lied on the podcast when she said that. He says he didn't tell her what to say. He just got a text saying she was going to announce it on her podcast. She announced it, it seems like a month after, a little over. So I'm sorry, a text is fine. A month after. It was going to have to come out eventually.
Yeah.
She gave you a heads up. It's been a month.
Yes. To me, that didn't, I mean, and I think, was it Paige that said he didn't respond to the text? Like, he had no right or anything to be upset with her announcing it on the podcast. And I don't think, based off of what Watch What Happens Live, I don't think he was upset with her talking about it on the podcast. I personally, the biggest thing that I got out of it was, and we all know Craig
is a liar.
We cannot trust everything he says wholly. But if this is true, that her initial phone call to break up, the initial breakup was a phone call after 3 years, like, that was surprising to me.
She couldn't do it in person.
Yeah, because that, like, if you just spent Thanksgiving break with this person and then here comes the weekend and he's out of the country and you call him, like, that to me was kind of not low, but just Yeah, I would have expected more.
It's not low. It might be a bit cowardly.
Yeah.
What I would say is, of course, a relationship of that long deserves the respect of doing it in person.
Mhm.
But she probably knows if she tried in person, she wouldn't have been able to do it.
Mhm.
You know how those breakups go. You try and it's just so hard because you know that it's over,
Yeah.
and you have so much love for that person that they can easily draw you back in.
Yeah.
So I'm sure she probably wanted to, but it was probably so hard. Or maybe she didn't. She was just like a coward, too scared to do it. Either way, you're right. I don't think it was low, but
You expect more
I can
after 3 years.
understand how hard. Imagine though, and I don't know was if it was a Mel Robbins or a Brene
Mhm.
Brown, is that her name? I think it was Brene. Somebody said something about breakups, and they were like, or it couldn't have been. It probably was neither one of them, and it was my home girl. But somebody was telling me something about breakups where where you break up is important,
Mm.
because if you do it, if he would have come to New York
In
and
her
did it in
too.
her house, or her apartment, it all would have that would have been a memory that was a part of it. It would,
Mhm.
and it would have been harder for him to get him out and to go back home. If she would have done it in his house, same thing.
So that's where it's confusing, is like, according to Craig, is the phone call happens and then he's doing press for Southern Charm, which is why he was in his mind, like, there was more to the conversation than, like, I feel we should break up. So they weren't, in his mind, technically broken up, because he comes to New York and he's staying at her apartment while he's doing press for Southern Charm, and she's doing Giggly Squad tours or whatever. So she's away and he's staying at her place. And so
There's always that gray area after a
that's what
breakup.
I'm saying. So, and I thought his interviews with on Watch What Happens, when he was talking about potentially proposing and his page 6 thing, like, I thought that was a little psychotic. I sent it in the group chat of like, is this psychotic or sad? Like, I can't tell.
Both.
And so knowing that there was that gray area, like, I give him a little bit of grace there. Um and then, yeah, and the breakup ends up happening at her apartment. It's finalized, I guess. But the other thing that he spilled on Watch What Happens was that they were discussing, according to him, their wedding over Thanksgiving in the kitchen with Paige's mother. So his feeling blindsided, I guess, stems from having those types of conversations so soon prior to her wanting to break up.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to Summer House, which starts this week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to get a lot more insight from Paige about where she truly stood
Yeah.
with this relationship. And, I've said this before, not that I'm happy that these two broke up, but they should have broken up a long time ago. I think that this relationship ran its course, and it was one of those things where it was going to have to be Paige to pull the plug regardless.
Yeah.
And she was too worried, sad. I mean, you love the person. Like, it's one of those things too in this relationship, seemingly, like, no one did the other wrong. And those are probably the hardest relationships to walk away from. So I I I, I hate the discourse online about it being like team so and so and team so and so.
Yeah.
It's like, team good that they're moving on and probably going to be
Right.
with their match eventually. Like,
Right.
they're not each other's person.
I agree. And I think that if we get a lot of Paige's perspective, she probably says more to her girlfriends,
Mhm.
to the camera, than she does to Craig. And I think that this will be Craig's probably not going to watch it.
And he's not
But
going to
it'll
like what he
be
sees.
but Austin will tell him.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be good for Craig to sit and at least hear it,
Mhm.
because I said this on the Friday show that his head is in the clouds and he's very delusional
Mhm.
when it comes to the reality of their situation, and it was going to take a Page to snatch him out of it. And I think watching the show could be therapeutic for him to see that this isn't the person that you wanted to marry, who was so unsure of the future.
Yeah.
There was the love for you there, but the timing was off. And
Yeah.
as you know, the older you get, timing is everything. There are exes from my past that I'm like, had it been the right time,
Yeah.
it would have worked out.
Yeah.
But that's part of the relationship. It's the person and all of that, and the love, the chemistry, but it's also the timing of where you are in your life.
Well, one of the things that he did say on Watch What Happens was, it wasn't that we wanted different things. She wanted other people or something like that, where it was like,
What do you mean other people?
well, a different like he basically was alluding to or saying like it wasn't that she doesn't want to get married, she doesn't want to get married to me.
Well, that's obvious. That's why she broke up with you.
But I guess like so many people were like, it's wrong timing, distance, like all this stuff of like it would work out if the timing was different, or if they were to be able to and apparently he was moving to New York according to him as well. So like he I think so many people thought that if the timing was different they would be together, but in his mind, and it maybe from what she said to him, was like, no, it's not the timing, it's like us, we're not meant for each other type of a thing.
I could see that. I think that Paige is a New Yorker.
She needs someone tougher.
She's feisty. I think she wants a faster lifestyle. And by
Mhm.
that, I don't mean more fame, more fluent. I don't mean that. I just mean faster.
Mhm.
And Craig is slow. Craig has a slower lifestyle.
Southern, yeah.
And I think she saw herself maybe getting a little bored.
Mhm.
Maybe
yeah.
it here I go. I always compare it to my stuff. Sorry if that annoys you, but it's true. I remember the psychiatrist on The Bachelor
Mhm.
said to me when I told her who I was going to pick,
Mhm.
Bachelorette, she said, "I wonder if you'll. My fear is that you're going to get bored." She said that to me.
Was that on camera?
No,
Oh, this okay.
no, this is not on camera. These were like closed. I wasn't mic'd or anything. This is
Okay.
closed. I don't know if I've said this out loud before or not. And she said that to me, and I remember thinking, what is she talking about? Like, that's
Yeah.
never going to happen. But of
Yeah.
course, I only know people in like 10 to 15-minute increments.
Mhm.
I don't really know them like that. And she
Mhm.
said that to me. She was right.
Yeah.
Like, in certain ways, I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that a little bit about doesn't mean you want somebody just like you,
Mhm.
but I think Craig is kind of like slothy.
He's a
It's
he's
not
a
a
homebody.
homebody because
No.
I don't mind the homebodiness.
Yeah.
He's a little slothy.
Slothy means like messy to me, like kind of gross. No.
Did you see the sloth commercial at the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I did.
They were at work.
Look, I definitely do agree with like their differing lifestyles. Craig wants to be in his house. He wants to do his gardening. He wants to sew some more pillows and like do that kind of stuff. Like to him, fast life is, just doing that on vacation or whatnot. Like Paige needs to be challenged. She likes to be in the
That's it.
city. She likes to me, like Craig was also, and it's only what we saw on camera, but just far too coddling to her. Like I feel like she needs someone that's gonna like give her the banter
Mm.
back. Like he was too like she could push him around too easily.
Yeah. I
and
do like the
and that does
coddling,
get
though.
boring.
I do like the it's something you said. It's the challenging.
Yeah.
And that's what it wasn't bored like. That's why I keep saying I don't think that she wants someone who's always on the scene. When I say bored, I mean I like a homebody. I like somebody who likes to be at home. I'm getting older. Like I really don't like to leave the house as
Mhm.
much as I used to.
Mhm.
But when I'm in the house, I want challenging conversation. I want, I'm not a sapiosexual by any means like
Mhm.
that, but it's like, I want to talk about what you're reading, what you're watching. I
Yeah.
want depth.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying Craig is like that. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that was it for me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so we are at home. Well, give me something
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
instead of,
And
like,
don't be so agreeable.
yeah, don't be I don't want to talk about insipid things. Like I don't want to talk about the fucking Bachelor or what, you know what I mean? Like I want
Yeah.
to engage.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that maybe there was some of that as times.
Yeah, I could see
Time
that.
went
Like,
on.
yeah, what did they talk about when the cameras aren't
Yeah.
there? What did you think of Craig saying that he didn't need to defend Paige about the
He
cheating
doesn't.
rumors?
He
Okay.
doesn't. It would have been nice, of course, but Craig is right. He is the ex-boyfriend. She broke up with him. It's done. I'd rather not hear from him than him feeling like it's not his job anymore.
Yeah.
to step in every single time, because the assumption is that he's gloating over the fact that people are dragging Paige's name through the mud.
And I
No,
don't think
it's
he is.
not.
Yeah.
It's that he is disassociating himself, I would imagine, for his own mental health,
Mhm.
to move on past her.
Mhm.
I believe him when he's like not in Reddit and not on the comments and not up to date on the latest Paige
Yeah.
adventure or
Mhm.
what people are saying. And I think it's smart for him to say, like, that's not my job.
Yeah.
Because if you start that, then where does it stop? Because
Well, and
then
then
everyone will expect
you're
it.
getting in the mud, and like to his point too, and I agree with you. I think it was Kyle and Amanda did a Page 6 interview where they brought up like Amanda specifically, like why didn't he defend her? And it's just adding more fodder. And I think we said this last week, like no person with a
Yeah.
reasonable brain thinks that Paige cheated on Craig. Like no one thinks that. It's mostly the Bravo like sleuths that are like throwing mud and making stuff up. So I think for him to jump in would only contribute to that. So yeah, I agree. They were both at the Super Bowl yesterday.
I saw that.
Mhm.
I saw something, maybe on
She
TikTok.
was in
That,
a suite and he was in the crowd. It looked like he had good seats, but also it did seem like she was staying with that guy that the Fanatics guy, whatever he does, as well.
Clutch.
Clutch. Is that Clutch Sports?
Hmm.
Yeah, so there was a photo, looked like same hotel room, but posted not together. So I don't know.
I mean, like she said, she's outside.
She's outside.
She's outside.
She's outside. Get outside with someone else. I don't like you.
I mean, she's having fun. Like, I'm not mad at her connecting herself to the sports guys so she can wear Kristen
Use
Jessic.
check.
Is that use
Use
check?
check. What
I
did
say
my
her.
mom call her?
I
Something like
just said
that.
Jessic. Use check. She needs a nickname. K whatever. KJ? Is it start with a J? Use check?
No, it's yeah, Jay.
It starts with a J, right? Yeah. It doesn't look like how it sounds.
Yeah.
KJ's outfits. Like if she
Mhm.
wants to wear the hottest sports gear and go to the Super Bowl
Yeah, be
and
sporty.
in style, good for her. Go sports.
Yeah.
Yay for her.
Go
I'm not
sports.
mad at it. That's what you should be doing. You step outside and you do fun things when you're single. You know, she doesn't have to stay inside.
No, not at all. There's cuter men.
We talked about it. I
Yeah,
agree
there's
with
cuter
you.
men.
But, you know, like sometimes people can, you know, stand on other things and it makes them a little bit cuter. Talking to Bill Belichick and his girl.
Yo.
I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I wish I had that in me. Sometimes I
To
wish
date older crusty men.
to date for not substance. To date for what they can do for me, for it to be a mutual exchange. I wish I had that in me
You
sometimes.
know, for a minute,
That's a hustle. That's a grind. I respect it a little bit.
I for a second thought like, okay, this girl seems wholesome and she seems like she's really into him. And when she stepped out for Super Bowl weekend, I was like, oh no, she is
She was
she
in a
is reaping the
commercial.
benefits.
She was in a Dunkin' commercial,
Yes.
sitting right next to him. Like,
Yes.
young ladies, this woman is to be admired. You need to be taking notes and doing what she's doing. I hope she writes a book, a how-to.
Yeah,
When you're 24, who can, like, she is living her best life.
I can't. Seeing him on the red carpet with his Super Bowl rings clutched up, looking like Thanos, I was like, this man. Next to her with the cutout dress, I was like,
I am
I
not
can't.
mad. This woman knows what her purpose is, and she knows what his is. And I'm not mad at it at all.
I have to see the inner relations of how that
I like it.
relationship works.
I like it. I do. I do.
Go Bill.
Go her. I'm sorry I can't remember her name. All right. And good news, happy news.
Yeah.
Madison is pregnant.
Madison.
Madison from Southern Charm. Madison is pregnant on Southern Charm, from
Yes.
Southern Charm, which we know watching this season, or actually last season, she was
Mhm.
talking about it. This season, we know that Brett, her husband, has struggled with his health. It seems like for them to be trying to have a child,
Mhm.
and now that that's coming to fruition,
Yeah.
that it'll be that he's probably doing a lot better.
Yes, I would assume that that's the case, and it was really sweet seeing. She posted how she told Hudson, which was really cute. Yeah, I'm super happy for her. Of course, you know my obsession with Madison. I typed congratulations, so happy for you.
You were in the comments?
I was in the comments. Yeah, Juliet was like, Juliet Littman, she was like, yeah, I saw her post, and then of course I saw that you left a comment. It's like, I can help myself.
Well, good for you. You're happy for her,
I
and
love
you
that
should
girl.
be.
Yeah.
And she announced it through a Clear Blue ad, which, again, I have to say, I'm all for.
I love it.
If Clear Blue is listening, when I'm pregnant, I want an ad.
I love
Like,
it.
expect it, get ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Babies cost money.
Babies are
Let me take
expensive.
this money and invest it for this child who's
Yes.
going to change the
Start their
world.
trust fund.
Like, I am for it. Come with it.
Yeah. I don't get why people hate on the Clear Blue ads.
You would do, well, it's like you guys would do it.
Yeah.
You would do the same thing. This whole thing, I'm above ads. I'm above. No, you're not.
If you're going to post you're pregnant, why not get paid for it?
Thank you.
You're already going to post it.
And like, it's not like she probably didn't use it.
Yeah.
I just, I'm for it. I'm for it. I'm for it. You know what? Maybe I'll use one just to say not pregnant and show it works in that way as well.
It's accurate no matter what.
Call me. Call me. Be more than happy to do it on this podcast. Okay, another thing coming out with Southern Charm, we see a lot of, you know, Southern Charm, it is interesting. Southern Charm, it's a show about a group of friends, but it really does center around the men.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And maybe that's our fault because we watch it, and I'm kind of into that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just personally, and y'all might get mad at me for saying this, a lot of the women don't really, other than Madison, don't have big main character energy. Cameron did when she was there.
Cameron did, but then is it we're not getting the opportunity to see their big main character energy? I think for what is surprising to me is that typically the cast doesn't even highlight this. And it goes both ways because I think this week Shep posted like he looked like he had some type of like themed crab boil party or something like that. That was an all cast event that wasn't filmed. And I'm sorry if we're spending half of the episode at Miss Patricia's house for this boring ass gentleman's dinner where
Right.
Whitney is like fucking high and drunk at the same. Like I don't need that on my TV. Like I would rather see a nice little tea party with the girls or like mix it up, like bring it in, but like Miss Patricia's crusty old fucking dinner parties with the chairs breaking, I don't want it.
No. You know how I feel.
And I do think like I could see why the cast would be mad. It's like we film all this stuff, you guys want to see it. Like,
Yeah.
what happened at this girls' night at the gay bar with Sally and Taylor there? Did they fight? Did they have a good time? Did they bury the hatchet? Did they move on? Like what's going on there? And so it just is a little bit frustrating because it's like there could be more, but we're getting like I don't need Miss Patricia. I don't need Whitney. Like I don't care.
Well, and I do understand that there's a storyline and they want it to fit a certain thing. But if the girls are friendly with Taylor, then I think it's a storyline of why they've decided to let her in.
Yeah, because they were so
What
hard on her
changed?
last year.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that that's a storyline to show what happened in the off season. You know, like I'm not a Taylor fan, but it's more of the way that she's coddled and treated and that she plays into more than it is of like her doing silly little things.
Yeah.
And so I would just say, like, that could have been something.
Yeah.
And so we're saying this because there have been a couple of posts. Madison posted something. Some Levis posted some things of it showing the crew all getting along or the girls getting along. And they're and, like, yes, it's not sexy for TV, but if you can give us a scene of JT injecting himself in the butt, then I think that we can get a scene of the women getting along with one another.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing.
Give us 2 to 3 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes. Yeah, we could have cut down that dinner at Miss Patricia's a full quarter. Like we're getting this guy Ryan so much.
Who I do not know who he is.
Like why? He has nothing. He always seems scared whenever he gets an opportunity to talk. And it's like I don't need to see Ryan. Like he seems like a nice gentleman, but
I asked this on Friday. I said, who is this man?
I'm sorry to this man.
Sorry to this man.
I thought he worked for Miss Patricia when he was like helping her up the stairs to her. He saw it as a moment like, I can have a moment to be seen on camera. Like
no.
why are you here?
No, it's bizarre. And yeah, like Southern Charm does that. They interject like so many like random people. And I know he's been present before and I've seen him on Madison's Instagram. And so I know he's like an actual friend in this group. But for TV, I don't think he's made for that. Like we don't need him in that capacity.
It's not working.
No.
It's not working. So it'll be interesting as people are going on with their lives. I don't know if it's new people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of interested in Sally. She seems a bit messy.
I want to see more of Sally.
She's
And
messy.
speaking of Sally, I know you're still not on to my Southern Hospitality kick, but I got some Sally in season 2 of Southern Hospitality with the overlap of her and Gaston and how that all started, which was alluded to in the season of Southern Charm. But like seeing Sally like working the door at Republic prior to her being in, yeah, no, Sally.
How is she working the door if she was been now operating robots and getting paid
I think
$400,000
she
a
does it
year?
at night or something. I don't know. Sally,
She's a hot mess, and
we
that's
need
why I like
more.
her.
We
She's
need more.
she show hops, Bachelor,
Yes.
Southern Hospitality, now Southern Charm. She landed at Southern Charm. She found her way. She will be at the reunion, so she's a staple. But she also has a career job, but it's not enough.
No,
She wants to
that
work the
fame.
door, and I'm not mad at it. She's a hot mess. I do like her.
I like Sally a lot. Give me more Sally.
Yeah, I do like
Give me
it.
more Sally.
Okay. What else? Rebecca Minkoff has announced her departure from Real Housewives of New York. I don't think anybody's surprised, and with that, I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't cut her out of the reunion altogether. That was the most uncomfortable friend of interjection I've seen on a Housewives reunion.
It's painful. Imagine
Yeah.
what we didn't see, which is
Yeah.
probably nothing. Her sitting there in silence. I wish they would have done a montage of her just sitting there.
Yeah.
That's what I want. That's
And
what we
when
want to
she
say.
left, oh, poor thing.
Peace out, ladies, and nobody said
no
a
one
thing.
even looked her way.
They're mean girls. Those New York girls are mean girls, though.
They
They're mean
are.
girls. They are.
We should bring that energy for next season. I guess there was like a casting call for RHONY that was posted.
I saw that
Yeah, and I
somewhere.
think they're like seriously looking. I don't think they're gonna recast altogether.
No, they shouldn't.
It's too soon to like throw in the towel,
That would
but
be bad.
they do need to bring in some heavy hitters. They should really focus on bringing in true friends and like relationships with some of these women.
Yeah.
Because
no,
it's
no.
very castmate energy, not
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah. Lindsay from I almost said Southern Charm. From
Summer House.
Summer House. I knew it started with an S. Lindsay from Summer House. It's rumored that she and her boyfriend broke up, which is so sad because she just had this baby. They have this newborn. They're sharing this life together. And you just don't want to see that happen.
No.
Nobody's rooting against the breakups, period.
Yeah.
Unless they're toxic, especially when there's a child involved.
Yeah.
And like that's tough if this is true. That means she's going to have to be a single mom. They're going to have to co-parent together. That always makes it a little bit difficult. So let's just hope this is just a rumor.
She posted, I think
Who
it was her,
knows?
on her Instagram story, a picture of her baby, but like without showing face, just like the arms and male hands, like going to her 2-month like post appointment, whatever. So it seems like they might still be together, but they don't live together. And she seems to be okay with that. She was on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast, like kind of talking about it. I don't know. Like, obviously, I think she'd be heartbroken, but I also think that she is realistic and that she knows this was a quick romance that culminated
Yeah.
into a baby. So, and one of the things that she did say they've been going back and forth on is how much he feels comfortable with her showing their baby online, being that he's an extremely private person and obviously she's not. So I wonder if things are rocky, if they're not together, if that is something that she sees her sharing her life as her currency, like her making money.
Mm-hmm.
And so her not being able to show her kid in so many ways is kind of, in her view, messing with that. So
Yeah.
if they are breaking up or if they're on tough, grounds, I wonder if there's fodder there.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be curious too, but you're right. It's a really good point about her being realistic. She wanted a baby.
Mm-hmm.
She has the baby. And I think that relationship, mother to child, is
Mhm.
more important to her than
Yeah.
having it. And she's with somebody who is financially stable and
Yep.
can afford it. So, if that didn't work out and she's fine with that,
I think
I'm
she'd
just
be
I'm happy for whatever is great for her.
I'm
and
happy for
obviously the
whatever
baby.
makes her happy.
Yeah. Last thing in the news, and it's Housewives adjacent.
Yeah.
Marcus Jordan was arrested, we know, for DUI, cocaine possession, and resisting arrest charges. He pleaded not guilty to those charges. There has been footage that's been released. If you didn't see, he drove his car, his Lamborghini, on to train tracks. Okay, we don't support a DUI in the least bit, and it's wrong no matter what level it is. Running a stop sign, a red light, swerving, parking your car and falling asleep with the car running. All of these are wrong. But how do you defend making a turn onto train tracks? You ever been to an intersection with a train track?
And he was deep on the train tracks. Like, I didn't see any side streets. Like, I didn't
Like-
see how he got there.
But it's like obvious. If in your right mind, it is obvious that you are at, like, you kind of got to go up a little bit. You know, you turn there, like,
Yeah.
there are no cars coming on either side. There's no light on the other side. It is very obvious it's a train track, or simply that this isn't a road you turn on.
No.
And somehow he made a turn. They confirmed that that a train was 10 minutes away from a scheduled stop on the tracks.
Oh, Lord.
I'm assuming they got the car off,
Yeah.
but that was interesting. I mean, when I saw the video, I wonder how often a train comes.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
So Marcus just says he made a wrong turn. He simply made a wrong turn. Now, you remember back this summer, he was caught just in the open, like he was dipping a chip in salsa. He was caught doing a bumpity bump bump.
Yeah.
For breakfast with friends.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be. I mean, you can't say, oh, just because there's this, but he was possessing it. I mean, that's kind of hard. Unless somebody else, he wasn't alone.
He wasn't alone.
Unless somebody else in the car cops to the possession, that one's going to be tough. And I think the most interesting part of all of it is that he name dropped.
Oh, yeah.
In the video.
Had to say his dad's name.
This man is whackety whack whack.
Mm-hmm. Had to say I'm Michael Jordan's son. Had to.
Wiggity wiggity whack.
Yeah. I guess good on Larsa for breaking that off when she did.
Did Larsa break it off?
You think he was the one to do it?
I do.
They're both nuts. So.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good for it to not be together. You know, Adriana's going to find some way to make this Larsa's problem at the reunion of Miami, because I think they're done filming. But yeah, it is. Bravo fans are crazy. Like, I was surprised at how much this got traction within like the Bravo sphere.
See, I didn't notice that. I saw it more in like the sports world.
I saw
he's Michael Jordan adjacent.
Yeah. But then it made me wonder, just in general, would people have cared if he never dated Like, I didn't know Marcus Jordan until he dated Larsa.
No, I mean, I knew he had a son named Marcus.
Yeah.
If he was walking on the street, I don't think I would know who he is.
Yeah.
But it's twofold. It's his last name.
Yeah.
And
he
it's
dated Scottie Pippen's
It's
ex-wife.
that he dated Scottie Pippen's wife, which is why I don't think it was Larsa. I think it was strategic for him. He was able to be on Housewives. He loved being on Housewives. And he got to be on Traitors. So, none of those things would have happened if not for Larsa. So, no, we wouldn't be talking about this at all.
But they could have if he was smart enough and like better leverage being a Nepo son.
I mean, I think he is fine with being a rich kid with a trust fund and the Jordan last name.
Yeah, he loves
He don't even look like Michael Jordan.
No, he doesn't.
Tough. You don't play like him. You don't look like him. Tough. Tough. That is it for news of the week. Jump into a couple of mini recaps. Not a whole lot. But with Beverly Hills and that other show.
We don't have to do that other show this week.
I will find my way to it.
You honestly, Rachel, it is really good.
Well, you say something each time that makes me want to. Like, I didn't know Sally was a part of it.
Oh,
so
when I saw Sally on the screen, I was like, oh, Sally.
That makes me want to come back. But then another setback we had was one of the girls was on Watch What Happens Live, and that was
Craig.
That was all about Craig.
I felt bad for Maddie.
I didn't. Annie knew what the people wanted.
Andy knew what the people wanted, but like Maddie was, yeah, Maddie did what she was quiet. She nodded appropriately and let Craig talk. So, it is what it is. It was a bad week to be a guest on Watch What Happens Live next to
Yeah.
Craig.
So she was, and so that took us back a little bit. I
Yeah.
thought, wow, she's not interesting enough to
How can you combat
Then they
the
should have
biggest
had
news?
Craig alone, let her come
Yeah,
back,
yeah.
which let me know they didn't really care. So we're back at square one.
They get a full reunion though, I think.
Is
Either
this the first time?
they had one last season, it was in the clubhouse. So I don't know if it'll be another clubhouse reunion or if they get like a nice set. We'll see how much Bravo really cares about this show, depending on what kind of set the reunion is.
I'm
It
rooting
was in New
for it
York.
because I like Leva, but right now it's not on my radar. Beverly Hills is though. Beverly Hills is, and I mean, I thought it was really interesting that they did start this episode out with this very dramatic montage of PK and Dorit's relationship to the point where I thought, because I watch on YouTube TV, and they go back and play old seasons. I thought I was watching an old season.
My mom did too.
I was like, is this like, I paused it and I was like, is this what's happening? But after I understood it, how it started, and then this episode started and how it ended, I liked the full package of it all.
I needed a refresher of the good times of the relationship because it's been a while since we've seen them doting on one another and talking highly about each other.
Since the Beverly Beach days.
Oh, PK, my husband, PK, couldn't do this without him.
I think that was the beginning of the end. Because
Beverly Beach.
She didn't want that name. Remember, he just came home and he was like, honey, I've got it. It's Beverly Beach. And she was like, I mean, that name is right up there with toothless, not homeless, or homeless, now toothless and homeless, whatever.
I don't want to go down
homeless,
that rabbit
not
hole.
toothless. It's right up there with that. It was
yeah.
so basic and
Yeah.
bad that I really think that it was like, I've had enough of this, man.
Yeah, it was the downfall, and I guess PK just really wants a wife that does nothing and just is by his side, and I don't know, like I think Dorit was starting to get a little bit too. Not even that. I think she was starting to be more of. I don't know how to say it, like a mother, like more of a homebody, in that she cared more about like taking care of the kids and not going out and not being social and not being that person on his arm.
Yeah.
Where he needs that. Like I think that's what and I think he said it. He says as much of like, I enjoyed Dorit when she would go out with me. Like to him now she's boring. Like and not doing the social things that he used to love. And I also like. We don't talk enough about how hard he was on her during like the burglary and her post, like her PTSD. Like he was really cold towards her.
It makes sense, not because I'm excusing it. It just makes sense how bad their marriage was for him to just kind of be like, get over it, or not believe her and not be, and then it highlighted how much he's also not there, that he wasn't there for that, and then how quickly he left her again.
Yeah.
So it really put a light on the dynamic of their relationship. But you're so right, in the beginning, it was like PK who knew everybody, and she just kind of was.
She like looked up to that.
Along for the ride.
Yeah.
And again, Beverly Beach, see, she's starting to do something on her own. And then, my God, then she took it a step up when she designed that room at the restaurant. Like she was on her way.
Yeah.
And he said, no. He said, no.
The
Not
Capri
Buca.
room.
You can have Beverly Beach, but not Buca
You
de Beppo.
cannot have that Capri room.
Absolutely not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I mean, two big things happen. It's the Dorit, PK, and the sit down at Kathy's, where Kathy drops some gems, of course. And then it's the women in Augusta meeting, what's her mom's name?
Sutton's mom.
What is her mom's name? Reba.
Yeah.
Fitting. Reba, where they meet Reba and start to understand the difficult relationship between Sutton and Reba, understand Sutton a little bit better, and we as an audience start to see why Sutton is the way that she is, and you kind of feel sorry for her a little bit. But Chelsea's face is no.
It all just makes sense to me more so now. Like she is an iteration of her mother.
it made me realize how miserable Sutton is.
Yeah.
When Sutton said the line, I was raised by a narcissist and married a narcissist. I felt sorry for her because it's like trauma. It's all she knows growing up in that household. And we know that her father committed suicide, so that's even trauma too.
Yeah.
And then you find comfort in what you know, and that's another narcissist. And so it makes me, I look at her and it's like, yeah, obviously I'm sure she had good times and she has 2 beautiful children who seem to be doing very well, but and a lot of money, but miserable.
Yeah.
And I that's why I felt sorry for her. She's not my favorite housewife, but I guess it's like the insight was nice.
Yeah, it was. Because I think Sutton being on the show a lot, we've been wanting to see more from her and talk a little bit more about her divorce, open up a little bit more about that. So to have her go back home, I thought was interesting. I understand why she didn't invite the entire cast. I would have liked to see more of a dynamic with all of the women there and the messiness of it. And that would have also probably upped the ante of Sutton being a little bit more crazier and unhinged. Would have liked that. But I did also like the Kathy dinner and that conversation. Erica being like a really good friend and like saying the hard truths in a really like nice way. Like it wasn't like you could tell she's coming from a genuine place when she's telling Dorit like you have to do this. And Dorit being open but scared at the same time. Like I really the episode altogether was kind of slow and boring, but like those 2 parts, the Kathy dinner and then seeing Sutton's mom were probably like those were pretty good like character building type things for the show.
And the Kathy.
Kathy.
And I felt like Bose was really getting to see Kathy for the first time and she was like, now what now?
That's crazy.
A lot of what was teased, and I think we'll see it more so in the next episode to talk about, but there was this, kind of underlying tone that Reba is, I don't want to say racist, but is
prejudice?
not used to be around black people.
Yeah.
Not used to be around black people.
Like,
did you
shocker.
get that feel when you watched this episode?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, definitely. I mean, I clocked it when, Garcelle says hi and then Kyle says hi and Reba's like, oh, you're very pretty. And she didn't give Garcelle one compliment. With the scarf, like that was awkward. Yeah, no, I definitely she's a 80-something-year-old white woman from Augusta, Georgia. Like, I don't think wealthy white woman from Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if she had a lot of black friends. So, or any diverse kind of friends, So it didn't surprise me whatsoever.
Look up the population of the
Augusta.
demographic of Augusta, Georgia. Yeah, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but that's also because we don't have that scene from where Garcelle does step out of bounds and decide to insert herself in a mother-daughter relationship.
Yeah.
I know she's doing it for the gram. She's doing it for us, but like, no, like you set yourself up for that.
Yeah.
But I did find it like when she's like, well, now wait a minute now.
Oh, is Augusta kind of?
There's a lot of black folk. Wait, is this the right Augusta? Let me look this up. Quite a few black people apparently live there.
Really?
We are wrong.
What's the demo?
Okay, Belts, check this out. But it's saying that it's 55% black.
What?
And 32% white.
But what's the fiscal demo?
Oh, I'm sure that there's.
Yeah.
I'm sure that but I just was shocked that there are more black people than white people in Augusta. But, learn something new every day.
You guys are educational show.
But yes, she did come across as being, I don't know if it was uncomfortable, but just, like, I didn't appreciate the comment when she was saying, when she did call her own grandson weird.
Yeah.
And then she turned to Garcelle and said,
Your son's weird too. Or
yeah,
something.
well,
Yeah.
Garcelle said it first.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, yeah, I've seen him on. And it's like, well, what's weird
Yeah.
about them?
And what have you seen? You're watching the show, lady?
The Instagram.
Yeah.
So that's why they were like, oh, she's a fan of your Instagram. But I think she said she saw it on, I thought she said she saw it online, but.
Yeah, I don't know. And like, look, it could be her being uncomfortable in front of the cameras. First time we're seeing her. Maybe it's the first time she's had all these cameras in her face before. I don't know.
I don't know
But
about that.
okay, trying to give her some grace. But no, I mean Reba's a trip. Reba is an old Southern white lady. That her daughter is Sutton. None of it surprised me.
Yeah, we shouldn't be shocked.
No,
We shouldn't be shocked. Well,
and we did like that. I mean, if we remember, when was it Sutton's first season? When Crystal's first season was too. When we got those like Crystal was calling Sutton out for her microaggressions and stuff like that when they first interacted, and that was like a big part of their feud early on when Crystal joined and Sutton joined. Was like,
yeah.
you know, you make a lot of weird comments about race.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, this doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the next episode. I want to see what this sit down is like, but they
Yeah.
really are playing into the racial undertones of the dynamic that this is. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
We'll see. Producer Belle came in. She says she got a different demo from the Augusta Economic Development Authority.
Oh.
51.96 white non-Hispanic, 36.13 black non-Hispanic.
Okay. Okay.
So yes.
Okay.
Still
Wikipedia's
higher
wrong.
than what?
No, they're wrong. But higher than I thought. Yes,
Mhm.
yes, for sure. All right, well, that is it for the recaps. We got a little something to do because we add a little bit extra, a
Yeah.
little bit of an exclamation point at the end of this episode. And this week, we're going to do our Mount Rushmore of moms. Now, moms of Bravo, we should say.
Mhm.
This is in honor of Sutton's mom, Reba, who we're doing a Mount Rushmore. Obviously, spoiler alert, Reba is not on
No.
Mount Rushmore.
She hasn't earned her stripes yet.
Yeah, we've just met her.
Mhm.
One, I don't like the way she's handling Garcelle.
Bad energy.
So she's, if there was a bottom, then yeah. But this is based off of like the ones who are the most iconic,
Mhm.
whether it's for a good or a bad reason.
Mhm.
So let's do our Mount Rushmore top 4
Okay.
Bravo moms.
Okay. So I'll go first.
Okay.
3 of my 4 are Southern mothers, which I don't know what that says about me. I'm not from the South, but there's something about a Southern mother that I genuinely.
Something endearing.
Yes, they're honest, they're blunt. So I got my girl Dee Simmons,
Okay.
from Dallas. She's hilarious. She was a
Mama
great
D.
mom, Mama D. She was snappy. She was witty. She was probably the best thing to come from that franchise, I think. So, Mama D is on there, and then I did really like Tinsley's mother, Dale. Another, like, all these women, like, you see why they are the way they are because of their mothers. Just crazy. Expected so much from Tinsley, put a lot of the pressure on her to have kids, like,
Yeah.
and just a little unhinged. Wanted the celebrity a little bit too much, which you have to be a great housewife mom.
For sure.
I also am going to throw in Cynthia Bailey's mom, Barbara Morris.
We rarely saw her.
We rarely saw her, but what she did with Cynthia's sister in hiding the marriage certificate to Peter was truly iconic behavior.
Sure.
And so I just want to get, like, I feel like this is fair. I'm not going to put Mama Joyce on my Mount Rushmore just because she has just a little bit too much negativity and toxicity. She needs to leave Todd alone. He has proven himself. They have been married for a long time. A dog with a bone. Like, so that's why Mama Joyce isn't on there.
Okay.
And lastly, I love me some Marge Sr.
Marge Sr.'s great.
She is great. She is a hoot and a holler. I would like to live my life like Marge Sr. when I'm her age, getting facelifts, hitting up the clubs, being social. Like, Marge Sr. is
That's what you work towards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are my 4.
Okay. Well, you might have dropped Mama Joyce, but she's coming on my mountain. Mama Joyce is the reason Candy stayed for as long as she did. You forget Mama Joyce wasn't putting up with anything.
No.
You couldn't tell her anything.
With anybody.
Honestly, she deserved a peach. She didn't just hate Todd. She hated Carmen also.
Yeah.
Candy's best friend, and then accused the two of having something going on. And despite all that, the marriage survived and the friendship between Candy and Carmen survived.
And the relationship with Candy and Mama Joyce survived.
And that survived. I miss her. She did get to a point where she became too much. Yeah. She also brought in her sisters. She gave us Old Lady Gang.
OLG.
She was doing a lot.
You know what? You're giving a lot of credence to, yeah.
Mama Joyce, remember, it's good or bad, but she kept that season afloat. Like, when it was in its prime, it wasn't Candy. It was Nene, Mama Joyce, Kim, Kenya, Phaedra, Portia. These were the women that were holding us down. Remember that. I'm also going to give it to Lois Rinna.
Lois is a good one.
She was such a doll. That was one of the best parts of Lisa Rinna.
Yes.
Just to see the relationship that they had, the closeness. She was always so upbeat. She loved being around the other women. And then we meet her in that way and the dancing and all that. And then to find out this woman had survived being kidnapped.
Yeah.
I mean, what a story she had. And I'm sure that it changed her outlook on life. She was appreciative to be alive. She cherished every single moment. We saw her up until 91, still living her best life. She was always a joy, just like a palate cleanser, a breath of fresh air. And to pair her with the demon that Lisa Rinna became, it just was like, that's when you saw the best of Lisa.
Yeah.
So that was nice. Judy, Lydia's mom, was one of my favorites. I mean, the woman walked around. The woman was like main character energy, cartoon character. She walked around putting fairy dust. She was so colorful, so bright. She also was a smoker. Like, I'm sure she was doing some other things because she was always so high, up in the clouds, so happy. And then the fact that her daughter was this straight-laced, religious woman, it was just so funny to see that I loved it. But yet they still had a relationship.
Yeah.
That I love Judy. And then I got to give it to Dorothy Dillard.
Oh.
Didn't she slap Candace?
Did she hit her?
I think she hit her.
Not
that I'm encouraging violence, but that is wild. Remember, we said the good or the bad. That is wild. She always let Candace know that she was supporting Candace. Like, you would not be who you are without me. She gave
paid for her home.
Her husband, what is her husband? Chris. She gave Chris a really hard time. Yeah. She was always she was Mama Joyce-esque.
She was.
She really was.
Mama Joyce walked.
I think she hit Candace.
Confirmed. Confirm she did slap Candace.
And I don't know if it was on camera or off, but we knew about it.
And Belle said, I can't believe Dorothy Dillard is a therapist.
And she's a therapist. If you don't want to sit down across from her just to hear what she has to say, she has unhinged behavior. She's probably actually an amazing. She's successful too. Yes. So add on top of that, this is a woman who's worked hard for what she has, and so she expects that from everyone around her. And she just didn't put up with anything. And it was, Candace was always crying over her. It just was so good. Yeah. It's so good. So those are my top 4.
Okay. Those are good.
We've had some good moms come through.
We really have. Bravo. They've done a lot for us, and they've given us really great mothers in all of it. Yeah, they definitely have. Well, you guys, that is it for us here on the MCU, Morally Corrupt, just adding another thing to our MCU over here. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thanks for listening. Have an amazing week, and we'll see you same time, same place. Bye.